Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another session here in Readers Magnet's featured author interview. My name is Leah, and I am your host for today. And with me is one of the Readers Magnet's featured author. And today we are very happy and honored that he will be sharing to us what this book is all about, him as an author, and of course the inspiration behind his book. So let's all welcome everyone, our one and only Mr. Carson Boss, author of the book Glimpse. All right. Hello, Carson. How are you doing?
Hello, Leah. Doing good.
That's good to hear, Carson. Okay, so it's now the time to know more information about you as an author, and of course, what is really exactly your book is all about. But before we tackle about your book, Carson,
Mhm.
why don't you introduce yourself to us? Maybe just a little bit of information about who you are. So, yep.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, my name's Carson Boss. Live here in the beautiful state of Utah, but I've lived in
Wow.
Canada for a few years. I've lived down in Texas. Currently reside here with my beautiful wife. We have 7 children between us, three
Uh huh.
grandchildren. So I love to travel, love to get out and meet people. Been all around the world. And I just find that by meeting people, it really broadens your horizons, lets you get a little, glimpse, if you will, into other cultures, other,
Wow.
points of view, things like that, that really help me as a writer try to, engage and reach my, readers in that way. So, yeah. So that's a little bit about me.
Well, that sounds interesting, Karsten. And I really I can tell that this is also one of the reason why you're in this platform right now. Okay, so it's now the time to tackle about your book. But before I do that, do you have your book with you right now? Will you
Yeah.
please show
Yeah.
it to our viewers?
Got a copy right here. This is the
Okay,
hardcover
there.
version. Oh, there we go.
Uh-huh. There. Such an interesting cover design.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people have asked me about where
It's
that
very
came from.
intriguing.
And it's
Uh-huh.
my book's not as creepy as the cover would have you believe. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
it was a slide my dad had taken back in the 70s. My dog had chewed my older sister's doll's head off. My dad just put it on a log and just took a picture of it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw the slide, I was starting to write my book, and I thought, if you
Uh-huh.
look in the eyes of the doll, it sort of looked like there were flames in the eyes. And I thought,
Whoa.
that's sort of like our soul, right? Our bodies, at the end of our
Mm-hmm.
lives, hopefully just you live a long life, but they decay. But your soul goes
Mm-hmm.
on and lives. And that's a lot of what my book's about. So I thought
Wow.
the
Uh-huh.
slide was a good segue into what my book topic was about.
I like that because from the cover design itself, it's really interesting. Where is it coming from? From that picture that you just check,
Mhm.
on your drive, and wow. So
Yeah.
that's where the whole story. I believe that that's also where the story also came from. It's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, it sort of
Wow,
helped
I like that.
work together, and then I liked how they put the cemetery in the background 'cause, my characters spend a lot of time in a cemetery, so
Wow.
it
Okay. Well,
worked
so we're
out.
gonna know more about that, Carson. So yes, I wanted to start with the title, Glimpse. Now, can you tell us where did it all started? How did you come up with this book? What's the inspiration behind you writing this?
Well, I think the inspiration was just a lot of experiences I've had. I've been a Christian youth and adult Sunday school teacher for,
Mm-hmm.
25 years, and conversations that I've had with my students about good versus evil,
Mm-hmm.
what happens after we die, like the story of Lazarus. Where did he go for the 3 days till Christ brought him back? Same with Christ. Where did he go, after his death? Just those types of conversations and those scriptures that we looked at were
Right.
very, our my students were very interested in those topics. And so we had great discussions about that. And then I've had experiences, some spiritual experiences in my life,
Mm-hmm.
that I incorporated into some of the characters that I wrote about. And it's just about, identifying those gifts of the Spirit, how we can help our fellow men out in using those gifts to just build commonality with people around the world. Doesn't matter your religious background, your points of
Mm-hmm.
view. what you believe in, I think we can find commonality that can, you know, generate great discussions with everybody around the world, no matter what your point of view is. So that's really the genesis of Glimpse. And then the title Glimpse, I
Mm-hmm.
really like, because I don't know if you've ever been looking and all of a sudden you see something out of the corner of your eye and you swear you saw something and you go to look at it and it's gone. I
Right,
thought,
like a momentary partial view.
yeah, I
Not really
thought
sure of what you're seeing.
maybe
Uh-huh.
something was there and you just are not, tapping into what that might have been.
Uh-huh,
So
right.
it's my character, especially my main character, Mark Banks. It's his understanding how to slow down, focus, be in touch with that spiritual side, and then
Mm-hmm.
starting to identify and connect with that spiritual side. Because I'm a believer in body, mind, and spirit. You've got to be taking care of your body, got to be feeding your mind with good stuff, and you've got to have some spiritual backing, whatever that is. You've got to have something that you believe in. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that makes a person holistic if they have all three of those. And so Mark Banks, my main character, is starting to understand that. So
Wow. This is such a mind-blowing story, Carson, I can tell. Because after all, it's not just about the writing story, but it's also uncovering things, that
mhm,
you really wanted to know, hey, what is really going on? What if I do this and that? So there's a discovery as well. Wow, I like that.
yeah.
And also, that being said, Carson, are your characters, let's say, based on real people, or did they all come entirely from your, let's say, imagination? Or have you encountered such scenario as well?
Yeah, it's interesting because there's a little bit of me in each character,
Whoa.
but some of the main characters that help Mark Banks identify what he's up against and what he's
Mm-hmm.
dealing with this, basically there's an agent of darkness that's trying to get access to our dimension and influence negatively the minds of humankind. And
Mm-hmm.
so Mark sort of gets pulled into this war, if you will, for souls that's been going on since the dawn of, humankind. And he's just basically trying to understand what's happening. And he has some really good people that help him out. He has a pastor at his non denominational church that he goes to
Mm-hmm.
for guidance, that gives him good scriptures to look into to start to understand what this agent of darkness is trying to do, as well as he
Right.
gets some help from some
Mm-hmm.
angels of light that help him out, that he meets at the cemetery. um, and then also the professor that he basically is taking this class at the University of Maryland helps him out too in identifying how he can stop this agent of darkness, um, and how they can all work together in doing this. So yeah, there's a little bit of me, a little bit of other
Mm-hmm.
people that I've run into in my life that I've just gleaned some of this information to write this book.
Wow, that is amazing. And you know what? I can tell, Carson, that this book of yours is really, such a successful creation because I know that there are already a lot of people who already know that your book exists. Now, the moment that you're writing, the moment of, writing process, writing this book, did you encounter any, let's say, any, struggles in it? Is there any moments that you, hey, I'm struggling in this part. What will I do? What about the writing process? Mm-hmm. Right.
Interesting story, Leah.
Difficult parts.
I
Mm-hmm.
I started writing this book back in 2009.
Whoa, that was
Then,
way, way, way too long ago. Mhm.
yeah, so a long time ago, I had read a book called The Emerging Mind. It was basically a collection of writings of just looking into the mind and how it can tap into our soul and our spirit.
Mm,
And that was a really good book. And then also, I really liked the Da Vinci Code, by Dan Brown. I liked his writing style. I liked that he used real life information and then wove a fictional story through it. So that's what
mhm.
I've tried to do with my book, is just quick chapters, move it along, good character, conversation and development. But I think starting it so long ago, I didn't really pick it back up until about 2017. So I had
Mm,
plenty of time to research, make sure
right.
I reference the correct scriptural references from the Old and New Testament, that help move my characters along through the story.
Wow.
So I think having that time to do it was cathartic as far as just making sure the information was true, and it helped develop my character. It didn't like take away from him. So yeah, so it's been a journey, Gee,
Right.
that 14 years, man.
Right. For discovering things, making sure that,
Mhm.
the moment that you jot down notes, nothing can, provide you a negative feedback. You really also need to be careful with that, right?
Yeah,
Wow. What a
yeah.
journey. I just can't imagine, Carson. And you know what? This is actually kinds of book that is also interesting, right of this moment, writing mystery books, let's say stories that are these stories are actually very popular right now, especially when there are people who's just very interested to really know more information. How is it committed? Let's say looking for clues. What is it all about? Red hearings. Well,
Mhm.
this is very awesome, Carson. Now, in your own words, Carson, how do you think, let's say, um, how do you think writing this kind of books empowers, let's say, individuals, especially to aspiring authors out there,
Mhm.
to, let's say, really have that courage in sharing their experiences through writing?
Yeah, I say a lot of, everyone has a story to tell.
Hmm.
And it doesn't matter, if it's a family story that, somebody
Hmm.
did something in your family that it was interesting. And I'm not saying everyone needs to keep a journal, right?
Hmm.
But it's really cathartic to just jot down things that happen in your life with people that with loved ones, with people that you come in contact with, and that helps build the story. And and I'd say if you've got a story, start jotting it down. Just write down impressions that you get. Um, Next thing you know, you'll have 30, 40, 50 pages of just stuff that you want to get out there.
Hmm.
That's really where this came from, was just jotting down ideas, impressions, experiences that I've had in my life. And then
Hmm.
all of a sudden that comes out in characters. And then when I
Right.
got the idea of Mark Banks and what he was going to do, I couldn't put it down. I mean, I'd put it down here and there. I wrote some caregiver books. My first wife battled breast cancer, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the reasons why there was such a gap in it. She was
Hmm.
diagnosed in 2010. I took a couple of years to write a caregiver book on everything you have to deal with as a caregiver.
Wow,
So
that's
once
awesome.
that was done, then I picked this one back up.
Hmm.
But I just think that people have a story to tell, and I love reading, and I love reading especially bios, biographies and things, because when you read about somebody's life and somebody's adventure, or something they experienced, you might
Hmm.
have experienced it. And it doesn't
Right.
matter when you lived or what side of the world you were on, there's a connection there. And that's what I love about stories. So if you're
Exactly.
if you've got an idea, write it down. And if you think it's something that could benefit people and they would enjoy,
Hmm.
go this route. I've self-published a few books, and
Hmm.
I love that option. And because your voice needs to be heard, just because you get turned down by agents, you know, go this route, go the
Right.
self-publishing route. And then you never know.
Absolutely.
My cancer books, I went self-publishing. They were picked
Hmm.
up by a publisher. And
Wow.
so
See,
you just
that's
never
awesome.
know.
Hmm. Definitely. Wow. That is very awesome, Carson. And you know what? I also wanted you to take this opportunity as well. Now, what would you tell people to tell people who would like to read your book?
Well, I'd like to tell them that I wrote a book that I think you would find interesting, but I
Hmm.
think it'll make you, pause to think about your place in the world and how you can influence people around you. A
Hmm.
lot of times the media, things like that, movies that make it so, egocentric, only worry about you, only worry about, what you need. When you start worrying about and caring about others, you really see that other people have it worse off. No matter how bad you think you have it, there's
Right.
others that have it worse off. And by helping them,
Hmm.
you can help yourself. And I think that's the message That's the message of Christianity. That's the message of a lot of religions around the world, is when you think outward, you'll help yourself inward. And that's really what, I'd like them to glean from my characters, that there's a bigger picture, something bigger that's going on other than just getting through this life, that there's more to come, and that this is just a stepping stone to where we need to get. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Wow, that is amazing, Carson. And thank you so much. It was really an interesting discussion, Carson. Thank you so much as well for also giving this, opportunity for Readers Magnet to be part of this journey. And also, Carson, I wanted you to also take the stage to, invite our viewers for your upcoming book signing during the LA Times Festival of Books. So, yep, invite everyone.
Yeah, come on out. I'll be there Sunday, April 23rd from 10 to 11. Be signing my book there. Would love to see you. Love to talk with you. Go to my website, www.carsonboss.com. Leave your email. I'll be posting articles of spiritual
Wow.
things that happen, in the news and things. I'd like to let you know that it does happen. Miracles are happening. A lot of people think, what happened to the miracles, back in the Old Testament and that? There's
Mhm.
miracles today, and people just need to understand that. So yeah, I invite you to come meet me.
Wow, that's nice. Thank you so much, Carson. And yes, everyone, Mr. Carson will be joining the LA Times Festival of Books. So that would be happening on April 22nd to the 23rd, but his book signing will be on April 23rd, which will be on Sunday. And that will be in University of Southern California, Los Angeles, USC campus. And yes, everyone, this is going to be our chance to know him more as an author and, of course, more information about his book. Again, thank you so much, Carson. And everyone, for those who are watching, please do grab a copy of Carson's book because it's available in Amazon.com, Barnes& Noble, and of course his website. That would be www.carsonbus.com. All right. So you may also follow him on all the social media platform he has. And again, Carson, thank you so much. And as we say it here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Thank you so much, Carson.
Thanks, Leah.